Come one, come all, and listen to a tale. With the Reverend defeated, the party realizes they need to head to the Hydra base in order to stop the bandits plaguing the town. Boondock tells Titus to spill the information on the base, and Titus relents. As well as giving a layout of the base, Titus also mentions the Aranese, a pack of assassins that were brought in should Titus and his gang fail. That name triggers a memory in Juliet's mind, who remembers that the Aranese were in Phoenixheart on a mission, but Cass managed to scare them away. Juliet decides to call up Cass and ask for more information about them. Cass then explains that they're a group of women who were incredibly strong, and even he had some trouble fighting them. Juliet then takes this as a challenge and bets Cass, "If I can defeat them, then you owe me an entire barrel of the finest alcohol and a date with that cute half-elf I saw at the Jackal's Den." Cass laughs and agrees, trusting in Juliet enough to immediately start preparations on her request. The party then rides out to the Hydra base in the desert, and they come up with a strategy. Because Juliet was the sneakiest of the group, she was going to scope out the place. Seeing two guards up front, she snuck around the side to see one guard patrolling a small garden. Waiting in the bushes, she waited for the guard to walk by before sneaking behind him and quickly disposing of him. Now, having a way in, Juliet ducked inside the building, smelling something coming from the kitchen. She saw one of the bandits currently using the kitchen to cut up a pizza. Juliet rushed behind him and, quick as a flash, covered his mouth and stabbed him in the back. The bandit struggled, but eventually slumped down dead as Juliet decided to claim her reward of a fresh slice of pizza. Unfortunately, the bandit bled over the pizza from his stab wound, ruining the pizza. After taking a brief second to mourn the loss of cheesy goodness, Juliet moved on to the back of the bandit base, where she saw stables. Deciding to try and free the horses, Juliet went ahead and started to loosen the saddles until one of the horses whinnied too loud, alerting another guard. Juliet quickly hid into the nearest haystack and turned into a fox when the guard came too close. The guard, confused by the small fox in the haystack, cautiously approaches, and Juliet shows her fluffy belly to the man to lull him into a false sense of security. The man reaches out to pet her, and as he gets close, she bites his hand and runs out of the stable, heading back toward the party to tell them her report. After Juliet explains the situation, Boondock, Essen, and Morgan decide to head to the stables, while Juliet and Hops take care of the guards. As Juliet and Hops get back in the building, Hops finds the bloody pizza on the kitchen counter. Hops decides to finish it by adding handfuls of random items, adding things like gunpowder and snail shells to the pizza before grabbing it and declaring she was going to deliver it to the people here. In the meantime, Morgan and Boondock head in through the stables, Essen keeping a lookout on the side of the base. Boondock tells Morgan that they have a plan, spooking the horses to get them to make noise. Morgan tries to hide, but Boondock simply levels their shotgun at the door as a bandit runs out. Before the bandit can take a step out, a shotgun blast rings out as the bandit's head is blown clean off. Essen, panicked, runs back to Boondock and asks them, "What the hell did they think they were doing?" Boondock shrugs and simply replies, "Thought it would be faster this way." As Juliet was sneaking toward the center of the base, she could hear the shotgun blast ring out and saw one of the assassins run out. Unable to find anywhere to hide, Juliet is easily spotted by the assassin as she sounds an alarm, before barricading herself in the center room. Juliet tries to chase after her, but as she opens the door, she is met with the broadside of a greatsword as Tisiphone, the muscle of the Aranese, stared her down. Alecto, the mage of the group, fired a firebolt at Juliet from behind Tisiphone. Juliet tries to swipe at Tisiphone, but her katana bounces off of her heavy armor as Tisiphone kicks Juliet back into the wall. As Tisiphone is about to bring her sword down on Juliet, 2 shots ring out, searing against Tisiphone's armor. Alecto then blasts Morgan back with a spell, but Morgan is able to quickly regain his footing, returning fire on Alecto and knocking her out. Juliet is then able to use the opening to swipe out at Tisiphone, knocking her down before leaping on top of her to stick her sword through Tisiphone's neck. Breathing out a sigh of relief, Juliet thanks Morgan for the assist. Meanwhile, Hops, Essen, and Boondock were taking care of the grunts on the other end of the building. Boondock and Essen are easily able to fight off the bandits, but Hops wanted to try a different approach by giving the bandits her pizza. Holding out the vile pizza, she offered the bandits some as the bandits gagged. Oblivious to the bandits' reactions, she ran over to give them slices, tripping as she did and launching the pizza into the air. The pizza came down on a bandit, covering him in hot cheese, chemicals, and a snail. As the bandit screamed out in horror, his allies surrendered, not wanting to share the same fate. The party regroups in the room the assassins occupied, with only the leader Megira remaining. Boondock told her to stand down and surrender, but she refused, wanting to avenge her sisters. Megira tried to take down who she thought was the weakest, Hops first, blasting Hops with a lethal wave of poison. But, unfortunately for her, Hops is immune to poison, being a grung, and Hops retaliated by poking her in the eye with her tongue, stunning her. The opening was enough for Boondock to smash her upside the head, knocking her to the ground as they stoically cock their shotgun and kill the last assassin. With all the assassins defeated, the party tied up Alecto, the only assassin that was alive, to bring her to be arrested. Juliet then decides to investigate the base, finding a hidden cellar where stolen goods from Hope's Landing were kept, as well as documents that had handwriting that looked exactly like the Reverend's, proving he was associated with the Hydra gang. After Juliet shouted out this revelation to the others, Boondock took a beat before saying, "Well, that doesn't really matter much now that he's already dead." After gathering up the missing supplies from Hope's Landing, Juliet also managed to find a bottle full of pure moonshine, immediately downing it as the rest of the party found a strange jar that seemed to be magical. Most of the party is uncertain what it does, but Juliet knows as she drunkenly makes grabby hands for it. Essen cautiously gives it to her as Juliet then sprints outside with it. Essen nervously follows her as she ties a rope to the jar. She then begins to swing the jar in a wide circle around her as Essen begs her to stop, worried she's going to hurt herself or others. After a few more circles, Juliet stops, pulling the jar out of the rope. The jar seems to have collected the moonlight, as it is now giving off a soft glow. Juliet stumbles over to Essen, wrapping an arm around him as she says, "See, it's fine. Now the jar's all pretty." With the assassins defeated, and it being too late to make the journey back to Hope's Landing, the party decides to rest in the bandit base until morning. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram, which are linked in the description. If you like our content, please consider supporting us on Patreon, also linked in the description. Thanks again!